There is a quiet kind of pain that doesn't come from being shouted at or abandoned outright. It comes from being slowly erased while still standing next to someone, from questioning your instincts, doubting your worth, and shrinking parts of yourself just to keep the peace. When a man doesn't value you, it rarely announces itself loudly. It shows up subtly, through patterns that teach you to betray yourself while calling it love. And the most dangerous part is how normal it can start to feel. One of the earliest signs is how your emotions are treated. You express hurt, disappointment, or fear, and instead of curiosity or care, you're met with defensiveness, jokes, or dismissal. You're told you're overreacting, too emotional, too sensitive. Over time, that message seeps in, and you start editing your feelings before you speak. You rehearse conversations in your head, trying to make them sound reasonable enough to be accepted. This is how emotional minimization creates shame. Not the loud kind, but the quiet belief that your inner world is a problem that needs to be managed instead of honored. When someone truly values you, they don't need to fully understand your feelings to respect them. They don't argue you out of your pain. They lean in, they listen, they stay present even when it's uncomfortable. Emotional safety is built when your feelings are treated as valid, not inconvenient. And the absence of that safety slowly disconnects you from yourself. You begin to wonder if your needs are too much, when in reality, they're simply unmet. Another pattern appears in how effort is distributed. You notice that you are the one checking in, making adjustments, offering grace, carrying conversations, holding emotional space. He benefits from your empathy, your patience, your understanding. But when you need reassurance, consistency, or support, he's suddenly unavailable. Busy, confused, overwhelmed, this imbalance teaches you to give without expecting, to pour without being poured into. And eventually, you mistake exhaustion for loyalty. Being valued is not about grand gestures. It's about presence. It's about someone showing up not just when it's convenient, but when it requires effort, when the emotional labor is shared. When your needs are not treated as interruptions to his life, but as part of it. Love that only exists when it's easy is not love. It's access, and access without responsibility always costs the one who cares more. You may also notice how accountability disappears in moments of conflict. When something hurts you, the conversation quickly turns into how you brought it up wrong, how your timing was bad, how your tone was the issue. Apologies, if they come, are vague and followed by repeated behavior. You start taking responsibility not only for your feelings, but for his reactions, his distance, his choices. This is how blame quietly shifts onto your shoulders. Accountability requires courage. It requires someone to sit with the discomfort of knowing they caused harm and choose growth over ego. Avoiding it keeps things familiar, but familiarity is not the same as safety. When you are always the one repairing, explaining, forgiving, and waiting, you are not in a mutual relationship. You are carrying emotional weight that was never meant to be yours alone. And the longer you do that, the more you normalize emotional loneliness. Perhaps the most painful behavior is conditional respect. You are valued when you are agreeable, accommodating, low maintenance. When you don't ask too many questions or set too many boundaries. But the moment you express standards, assert needs, or say no, the warmth changes. Affection is withdrawn. Communication cools. You're made to feel difficult for wanting consistency. This teaches you that love is something you earn by staying small. True connection never requires self-erasure. Belonging is not about fitting into someone else's comfort at the cost of your authenticity. If you have to mute your voice to stay connected, the connection is already broken. You deserve to be met fully, not selectively. You deserve respect that doesn't disappear when you stand up for yourself. Over time, these behaviors shape how you see yourself. You start negotiating with your own boundaries. You second guess your intuition. You stay longer than you should because you believe leaving would mean failure, or that loving harder will finally change things. But love is not proven through endurance of pain. Love is reflected through consistency, care, and mutual effort. Staying in something that diminishes you is not loyalty. It is self-abandonment. There is courage in recognizing patterns without needing to villainize or justify anyone. Naming what hurts is an act of clarity, not bitterness, and clarity is the beginning of self-respect. When you start paying attention to how you feel around someone rather than how much potential you see in them, things shift. Your body knows when something is off. The tightness, the anxiety, the constant self-monitoring, these are signals, not flaws. You are not asking for too much when you ask to be valued. You are asking the wrong person when your needs are consistently unmet. And that realization can be both heartbreaking and freeing, because it returns responsibility to where it belongs. Not on your worth, but on their capacity. Valuing yourself does not mean hardening your heart. It means trusting it enough to listen when it speaks. It means choosing relationships where effort is mutual, accountability is present, and respect is not conditional. It means believing that love should feel like expansion, not contraction. You were never meant to be someone's emotional convenience. You were never meant to earn basic care by minimizing yourself. The right connection will not require you to prove your worth through suffering. It will recognize it through presence, and when you begin to internalize that, the behaviors you once tolerated will start to feel unfamiliar. Not because you changed who you are, but because you finally stopped betraying yourself to be chosen.